So in this example, we can see now that the GFG folder that we have created. So what we are doing, set working directory GFG. So now you can see that when I apply the function get working directory, I get /users /Malika Gupta /desktop /GFG. So basically now if this particular directory is there, if this subfolder is existing in the folder desktop, I will, this was my current directory user Malika Gupta desktop, but the moment I write set working directory GFG will automatically be searched in the desktop folder, and in that GFG is there, and it will be printed that when I print the path now get working directory, I see that my location has reached GFG. So that is how also we can do that. We can set a directory in a current directory. We can either go to root or maybe go one step back or one step down, or we can give absolute path and right from the root we can go. So this is basically an example of a relative referencing, where from the current location, either I'm going from desktop, I'm going back to Malika Gupta, or down the line from desktop, I'm going to GFG. So that is how we can say that subfolders can be easily accessed once the root directory has been set or is available by further specifying the character names of the subdirectory. So we can see over here that set working directory user Malika Gupta desktop is my working directory, and I add a subdirectory which is GFG. So you can see over here that after doing get working directory, I get my GFG directory and I reach my current working directory, which is user Malika Gupta desktop and GFG. Now, after doing lot of understanding of folders, subfolders, working on a current working directory, setting a working directory, sometimes we call it changing the working directory from a particular location to some other location, because we have to reach elsewhere on the computer memory and work from there. After doing all that, what we have to do? Now, what we are planning to do? Now, basically, we will start importing our data. That is, I have reached a location, but why I have reached that location? Because I want to import data. I want to fetch data from that location. So now we will understand the concept of downloading or importing the data. Let's see how it is done. So now, first of all, we have to understand that when we are downloading or importing the data, we are reading a comma separated value file. We call it CSV file. Now students, understand that CSV file is nothing but the Excel file. The data we have in the Excel file can be saved with the extension .csv, which is a comma separated value. So what actually happens is that the data that we have in Excel is automatically separated by a comma, and it can also be opened in a text file. So basically the idea is that our data is in Excel, but we want to change the format of that file, of that data. Then we go for a comma separated value file. And how we read that data? We can read that data using the read.csv function. So read.csv function is used to read the data, and this function is inbuilt. Read.csv function is an inbuilt function. We are not supposed to write any code in it. The only thing we have to understand is that what we are reading. So basically, when we are using a read.csv function, we have to understand the parameters that we have to pass in this function. So the first parameter over here is file.choose function that we are passing. So it opens a menu to choose a CSV file from the desktop. So we are passing a function file.choose, which will automatically open a menu, and very nicely with the help of our mouse, we can select a CSV file from the desktop. And the next parameter is header. It is to indicate whether the first row of the data set is a variable name or not. So apply T or true if the variable name is present, or it will put false or F. So basically, now let's have a look of this example and understand the two parameters. So first we will understand what is file.choose. You can see over here that the first line, import and store the data set in data1, is a comment, and data1 is the variable. So what we are doing, we are importing and storing the data set in data1. Where is the data set? Data set is our CSV file. So what we are doing here, data1 is equal to read.csv. Within read.csv, we are using the function, or we are calling the function file.choose. File.choose is again a function. Choose is a function of class file, and then comma, header is equal to true. So if we apply header equals to true, so it will give the variable name. If it is true, it will be, variable name will be present. And then next is display the data. And there again we write data1, which will display the entire data. So you can see that no matter whatever is the size of CSV file, whether it is a file of 1,000 records or lakhs of records, no problem. We have to just use one line command, which is read.csv, to load the entire file, or we can say import the entire file, which is our CSV file, into a variable data1. So data1 is the variable where we are loading the entire file along with the header. And then in the next command, we are just typing the variable data1 and displaying the entire data. So you can see the entire data is printed on the screen in the form of a report. We can say it is a direct report where all the records are considered, and the output is there on the screen on the right hand side. In the output also, you can see 1 to 10 are the rows, which is the serial number. A is the first column, B is the second column, and C is the third column. So you can see over here that we have imported the entire file, entire Excel file, and we have stored that in data1, and we have printed on the screen. And that is how very easily I'm importing, or I'm downloading my data, which is there on my computer. I'm loading that data from that and storing in data1 variable. Now, there is one more method which is called as method 2, and it is used for applied by using the function read.table. So you can see over here that there is one more function which is a table function of the read class. Here also we can apply a little bit of same logic and see how we get. So the function specifies how the data set is separated. So in this case, we take sep equals to comma as an argument, because we are choosing a CSV file. Now we all know CSV file are comma separated value files, and hence we are using sep as an argument, which is equated to comma. Now you can see import and store the data in data2. Data2 is equal to read.table, and table is my function. Within brackets, I pass file.choose, which is again a function used to choose a file from the desktop, comma, header equals to true because I want the heading of all the columns, and separator is equal to comma. So it will be taking into consideration the file wherever there is a comma. So in the file where when the comma exists, it will be considered as one column, and all the CSV files can be used with the help of read table, and we can display the data with the help of data. So you can see data2 is the variable which is displaying the entire set of 10 records. You can see over here the records are same. The only difference between read.table and read.csv file is that read.csv file will only read the CSV file, whereas read.table has a robust feature which can read various kind of files, and in different files the separators can be different, like a comma or a forward slash or maybe a blank space or a tab and various special characters. So there we can specify the special character with the help of the separator, and then automatically the file is loaded and it is split into columns. So that's the difference between read.csv function and read.table function. Though in this example we have again used a comma as the separator and explained you the data. Now let's take the case of reading a tab delimited text file in our programming language. So students, tab delimited text file is what? First we have to understand that tab delimited text file is a file where the gap between every two values is a tab. So with the help of tab, we are giving a gap. So sometimes it happens that our data is such that there is neither a comma nor it is an Excel file, but it is a file where there is a tab space between two values. So now if I want to take one column, then second column, and then third column, so what we will do, the function will have two parameters again. What is the function? Read.delim. It is DLIM, delimited, or delimited, it is taken as delim. And again, the first function we are passing is file.choose. It opens a menu to choose a CSV file from the desktop. Then header equals to true. It is to indicate whether the first row of the data is variable name or not. So if it is variable, then it will apply true. Otherwise, it will apply false. And then example is same. Data3 is my variable, which is equal to read.delim. So read.delim is my function, which I'm using within brackets. First I've passed is the file.choose function to choose a file from the desktop. And then I have passed header equals to true. And only the files where tab is a delimiter will be displayed, will be taken into consideration, and the data will be displayed on the screen. So here you can see that I've chosen a file, and now my data is also coming on the screen on the right hand side. 10 records, 3 columns, A, B, C, and there are the values. So we can have a read.delim function also when we are reading a tab delimited text file. So whenever there is a text file, we can go with the read.delim function and read the text file from a desired location. Now let's have a look of you are having a function called as read.table function where the separator is /t. So students, we have seen that sometimes it happens that we are using the tab delim file, read.delim function for a tab delimited text file. But the same thing can be done using the read.table function. But how? This function specifies how the data set is separated. So we all know that in this case, we take sep is equal to double quotes /t. Now you can see in the previous example, the separator was comma. Here the separator is /t as an argument. So if it is a tab delimited text file, that can be chosen over here when I'm using read.table. The only difference is that I have to use /t as a separator. Now you can see import and store the data set in data4. So it is again the same thing. Data4 is my variable, which is equated to read.table function. Within the read.table function, I'm passing 3 parameters. My first parameter is file.choose function, where I'm choosing or selecting the file from the desktop, comma, header equals to true, which means if header is there, it will be displayed on the screen. And third, separator value is equated to /t, which stands for tab. So you can see over here, when I display the data, I'll again get the same result. And how I display the data? I write data4. So you can see over here that the output remains the same. It is the same output which will come on the screen because the file is same. The only thing is the data is same. How they are separated, how the columns are separated from each other is a question mark. So if it is a tab delimited text file, in that case, we have to use separator /t. If it is a comma separated file, we'll use a separator comma. And likewise, if it is a text file and tab delimited file, in that case, we can also apply the function which is called as read.delim. So students, that is how we can load the files, the CSV files in the R program and apply some kind of functions.